All right, so I'm Jill Elmers, and I own and operate Moon on the Meadow farm. We're a certified organic farm. We produce on about 6 acres. We have actually 2 properties, one where we're standing now, which is about 3 acres, which houses all of our tunnels, and then 2 doors down we have 29 acres. Not all under production, but it is a little bit more space that we use for both things. So we grow vegetables, small fruits, and then also cut flowers, an addition that we put in a few years ago to give us a little bit more variety on what we're doing. We do probably 60% retail, 40% wholesale on a normal basis. COVID-19 changed that a little bit to where that number fluctuated. But most of the time it's about 60-40. So our retail consists of, we do the Lawrence Farmers Market. We've been there, this is actually our 20th anniversary. We're celebrating 20 years at the market. We also do multi-farm CSA, so common harvest CSA with Mellowfields Farm, and then lots of producers that we use for add-ons. We have about 9 add-ons that you can also add into your share once you choose a vegetable share. So we have about 180 members for that CSA. And so that's kind of the retail side. And then on the wholesale side, we sell to USD 497, which is our local school district. We sell to the Kansas City Food Hub, which I'm a founding member of. We do our local restaurants. We do the community mercantile, mostly in Lawrence, but we've been asked to start bringing some stuff to Kansas City, so we're working on that. So, like I said, this is our 20th anniversary at Farmers Market, which is kind of when I started the farming. Well, when the bug bit me, I guess you could say. The year before that, I apprenticed on Wakarusa Valley Farm with Mark Lumpy, and that's how it all started. And then from there, I started leasing land, little half acres and quarter acres from different people. I felt like I spent a lot of time in my car going back and forth with my tools. And also at the same time doing another job, so trying to balance the two. And we landed here at our current location in 2006. I had been renting some of the land from the gentleman who owned the farm, and he needed to sell to go on and do something else, and so I had first dibs on it. And so we bought the 3.5 acres where the house is and all the tunnels. And then in 2010 is when we added the second property. So my very first growing growers apprentice, Tom Bowler, and his family and I went in together and bought the 29 acres that we call Common Harvest Farms down the road. And they live down there, and then we do some things together. So we have joint projects, some perennial crops, asparagus, we used to have rhubarb, some fruit. We grow turkey red wheat to grind into flour, which is an heirloom wheat. So we do some things together, and then we also have our separate spaces. We grow probably a little bit more of everything than maybe is logical and economical, but I get bored easy, and so I like bringing new things on. It's hard to let something go as well, so we do grow a lot of different things, but that lends itself to our CSA, because CSA members don't want radishes 12 weeks out of a year, and so you really have to have that variety, in which having a multi-farm CSA also lends itself to the success of having happy shareholders as well as ones who want to return. The only thing that we probably don't grow very well is corn, because it takes a lot of space, and we're a little bit more of a intense kind of farm than a wide spread out farm. To the cut flowers, we started by growing everything there was to grow, and have really honed that down a little bit to where we take the different seasons and we say, okay, in our bouquets we want the 7 different types of flowers. You have your focal flowers and your greenery, and there's categories, and so within those categories we have decided, okay, we're gonna grow this, and this for that category, and this, and this for that category, and so we've honed that down a little bit. And that was probably a trial and error thing. I did not realize that growing flowers was quite as complicated as it is in terms of when you pick, how they're grown, You know, you don't want blooming flowers on a flower farm. You want blooming flowers from a flower farm blooming in the customer's house. And so you pick them so differently than you would expect from just your garden, you know, in your backyard.
So what is your irrigation source for the farm for water?
So we have two sources for water on the farm. We have a well that we use for irrigation only. And we are on city water because we're so close to town. And so everything that we wash is done with city water. Yeah, that makes it easier. You know, the city does all the testing on their water, so we just keep those. We keep the printout of that. They send it to us. We keep it in with our. We use it for our organic certification as well.
And drip is your primary method for everything?
Yeah, I would say yes. I would say probably 80% is drip. We do also use the wobbler.
Okay.
The wobbler system for like on the west side where our salad mix is and arugula, that kind of fine, very intense planted stuff.
And then your workers you talked about. What's your approach to worker training, health and hygiene?
So it's really important. One nice thing about a lot of farm workers is they come from food service, and so they're already kind of tuned into how that works in the back of a house in terms of a restaurant. And so we do an initial training with our new workers on their very first day, and we give them a sheet that says, look, this is the, you know, these are the things, and some of these are logical, but I still need you to read through them and remember them. You know, like you always wash your hands when you go to the bathroom. You always wash your hands when you come in from the field before you bag anything or process anything. You know, lunch is in a certain area, smoking is in a certain area. Don't come to work sick. Don't wear silly shoes. You know, that kind of thing. And so they get a printout that kind of focuses on those things that we think are important. And then, you know, in post-production, that is definitely a learning curve there. Post-harvest handling, both from a sanitary standpoint and also a quality standpoint, right? As soon as you pick something, it's going to start to degrade until we can get it into the proper temperature. And so, you know, that process of teaching that is continuing. We're doing it all the time. This is a homemade walk-in cooler. So the one you saw outside is a pre-manufactured. We got it shipped. We bought the whole thing. This we built, and so it's made out of SIP panels, structurally insulated panels that are used to build houses. And we built it ourselves. It has essentially two rooms. The first room is what we call a cool room, and it's blocked off so that in the heat of the summer we can put our tomatoes in that front room, and it'll keep them cool but not cold, because in 90 and 100 degree weather your tomatoes will disintegrate quickly. And then the back room is where all the really cold stuff is.
From the post-harvest standpoint, different commodities like to be held at different temperatures.
So we have, I don't know, usually 4 to 5 employees each year. We do attempt to grow all year round. So we have for 8 or so tunnels, and we do plant things to produce all winter long. Over the last couple of years, we've decided that, you know, when the sunlight goes away for us at the end of November until the first part of February, everything comes to a screeching halt in terms of growing. And so it's not worth the effort during January to really do a whole lot of picking. So we decided a couple years ago that it might be a good idea to take a little time off and shut the doors, keep everything warm and covered, and then in February we start back up. You know, beginning farmers, I'd never recommend that you start with a CSA. That is the most challenging market, I think, because CSA members have to have a lot of variety. You have to grow it really well, and it makes it hard for someone who's first starting out. Farmers market is a lot easier retail venue to start in. I'm trying to move a little bit more towards more of a teaching farm. We would like to have more apprentices here. We've done growing growers since the inception, which was a long time ago. And we really love that program. We think it's really, really valuable for the apprentices. And we would like to start bringing more of that onto the farm, and maybe even turn it into an incubator farm someday, where people could rent spaces and run businesses here. So, where are the young farmers, and what do they need from us as an agricultural community in moving forward? And to me, it looks very different than it does now. And so I think it's really important that those of us who are getting to this age need to start, sharing as much as we can and help and supporting them in whatever way it is. I mean, we have lots of urban farms, we have lots of small farms, we have micro farms, and that's where we're seeing a lot of production coming from. And then also on the cut flower world, I will tell you that there are loads and loads of young people interested in the cut flower industry, which there's lots of room for that as well. I have been doing this for a long time, and it is an amazing process in so many different ways to grow food. One, when you go to your markets or to your CSA pickups and you see people get excited for what you grew, right? The freshness of the strawberries that were picked today are going to be eaten by somebody tonight. That is incredibly motivating. The idea of working outside all the time, I love. I can't sit still inside anymore. And I truly believe that we can feed our region on local food. We have to look at eating differently, but being part of that movement of trying to get more people to understand how to eat locally is it's incredibly rewarding when they do, and it does motivate you to just keep going.